Secondly, in introducing myself, I want to simply say that I have, across the years, been arrested more for standing with organizing workers in the country than with civil rights issues. In Memphis, where I pastored for 12 years, in Los Angeles, where I pastored for 25 years. My arrest record, which I don't really know that much about, nevertheless, has been more for standing with workers in the public squares of the United States, of Los Angeles, than for any kind of issues that can be called the civil rights issues. So I welcome this opportunity to be with you this morning.
In the struggle for justice and equality in America, one man stood at the forefront, using the power of nonviolence to challenge an entire system of oppression. Reverend James Lawson, a key strategist to the civil rights movement, led protests that shattered the foundations of segregation and the Jim Crow laws. His commitment to nonviolent resistance changed the course of history, shaping the fight for racial justice, not only in the 1960s but in the world we live in today.
Lawson's teaching of nonviolent direct action inspired some of the most defining moments of the civil rights movement, including the sit-ins that desegregated lunch counters across the South. His legacy remains a testament to the power of peaceful resistance in the ongoing fight for equality.
To understand Lawson's impact, we must first understand the America he fought to change. The Jim Crow laws enforced across the South legally separated black and white Americans in schools, restaurants, and public spaces. Segregation was not just a social custom, it was written into the law, designed to oppose and defranchise black citizens.
Resistance to segregation was met with violence. Those who challenged Jim Crow risked imprisonment, beatings, or worse. It was in this climate that Reverend James Lawson emerged as a leader in the nonviolent struggle for justice.
Born in 1928, Lawson grew up and witnessed the harsh realities of segregation. His own experiences with injustice fueled a determination to seek a better way. After being imprisoned for his objection to serving in the Korean War, Lawson embarked on a journey of self-discovery that would forever change his life and the future of civil rights in America. Traveling to India, Lawson immersed himself in the teachings of Mahatma Gandhi, who had successfully employed nonviolent resistance to challenge British colonial rule. This philosophy of peace, discipline, and unwavering moral courage struck a chord with Lawson. Returning home, he dedicated himself to adapting these principles to the American struggle for civil rights.
So what Gandhi, I think, was insisting upon is that nonviolence is an ancient wisdom.
Food, visions, Lawson's ideas quickly caught the attention of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who recognized the transformative potential of his teaching. With King's encouragement, Lawson set up workshops in Nashville where he began training students in the art of nonviolent direct action.
Lawson's workshop led directly to Nashville sit-ins of 1960, a bold and peaceful challenge to segregation. Black students, armed only with the principle of nonviolence, occupied segregated lunch counters, refusing to leave until they were served. Their disciplined resistance in the face of violence and hostility shocked the nation and forced a reconsideration of unjust practices.
Reverend Lawson taught that nonviolence wasn't just a method of protest, it was a way of life. His teachings showed that the courage to face hatred with peace was the most powerful tool we had. The success of these sit-ins rippled across the South, igniting a wave of direct action that would pave the way for the Civil Rights Act of 1964. In a nation deeply divided by race, the disciplined resolve of these young activists became a beacon of hope and a catalyst for change. Reverend Lawson's commitment to justice did not just end with the desegregation of lunch counters in 1968. As nations grieved the loss of Dr. King, Lawson once again demonstrated his leadership by organizing the Memphis sanitation workers' strike. The movement wasn't solely about ending segregation. It was a fight for the dignity and economic justice. Workers demanded fair treatment and better working conditions. And Lawson's nonviolent tactics provided a blueprint for confronting both racial and economic inequalities.
Even in the wake of a profound national strategy, Lawson remained a steadfast advocate for nonviolent resistance. His work resonated beyond the immediate political battles of his time, laying the foundation for future generations to confront injustice with the same calm determination and moral fortitude.
Throughout the 1970s and beyond, Lawson extended his activism beyond race, championing the rights of immigrants, women, and the LGBTQ+ community. He spoke out against war, mass incarceration, and systemic inequality, always emphasizing that nonviolent resistance was the most powerful tool for change.
As a teacher and mentor, Lawson influenced new generations of activists. His work with faith communities and universities helped shape today's movement for justice, from Black Lives Matter to labor rights campaigns around the world.
Long after the heights of the civil rights movement, Reverend James Lawson continued his mission not just in protest but in the classroom. As a professor at California State University, Northridge, Lawson dedicated himself to educate a new generation about the power of nonviolent resistance. At California State University, Lawson taught a course on social justice, civil rights, and nonviolent movement, urging students to see activism as a lifelong commitment. His teachings weren't just history lessons, they were call to action, challenging young minds to dismantle injustice in their own communities. His lectures drew from his personal experiences, organizing sit-ins, marching for workers' rights, and standing against systemic oppression. Through mentorship and dialogue, Lawson empowered students to see themselves as agents of change. His work at California State University ensured that the next generation carried forward the lesson of civil rights movement, providing the struggle for equality never truly ends, it only evolves.
Reverend James Lawson's impact at California State University extended far beyond the classroom. His teachings, rooted in history but focused on the future, continue to inspire young activists to confront injustice with courage, wisdom, and unwavering nonviolence.
As long as injustice exists, the need for leaders like Reverend James Lawson will never fade. His life is a powerful reminder that true change is achieved not through violence, but through a steadfast, principled commitment to peace and justice. His story calls on each of us to look within, find our courage, and stand up against the forces of oppressions, just as he did, with dignity, discipline, and hope. Reverend James Lawson's journey from the segregated streets of mid-century America to the global stage of human rights activism remains a beacon of hope for all those who dare to dream of a more just and peaceful world.